So when we first put this on the back, it worked, and you really absolutely don't need the extension, but it worked. But when we put it up, it hit this, and there was no way that we could open the hatch with that on there. So we got this extension. Now, we looked at several different kinds. There were the kind that swing arm, which looked really nice and looked like you could leave the bikes on there and open there. I'll leave a link to one there, but that's not one we used because it was so expensive. So this was much less expensive. So I'll also put a link to this one in the bio or in the description. So now now for us, it's critical that we have locks because the bikes are not cheap. And this has a lock for attaching rack on the car, and then these locks lock the bike onto the rack, and that's really good because they're completely secure. You can't take the wheels off of them or anything because these race wheels are fairly expensive. And then but when we got this, it just came with this little pin, which would be fine if we weren't worried about the locks, and also it rattled back and forth a lot. So what we got, and this is what I'm going to try today, is this guy here, and it's supposed to lock and keep it from rattling. Now, the unfortunate thing is, even though this is keyed, so these are all together, this piece will have a separate key, but that's not the worst problem. So this has three parts. There's the pin itself. Do it this way. There's the pin itself, there's an inside thing to hold the pin, and then there's the lock on the other side. This particular extension is solid. It's very heavy. So there's no way to put this in here, okay? So that's what that's for, is if you have a hollow extension. It might work, in this piece, but we don't need that because we've got the Thule piece, which is already threaded. Now there's three ways this will go on here. With the nose down a little bit to reduce the height. You do lose a little bit of clearance here, but my gosh, it's a Jeep. It's so much better than the VW that she had it on before. And then there's also two positions you can put it in. You can put it back this far or out here. So we'll try it first with it in, with the idea that we're perhaps going to save our shins a little bit. Okay, I'm going to make this as tight as I can. It's pretty easy to... May not be great. We might have to do something to keep the rattle down.
Keep it rattling from rattling?
Yeah, but this is a good first try. Just locks in here, so you can't take the piece off there, so you can't take anything off. All right, and then we'll put this in here. All right. Now came with this lock here. Came with this lock here. And we'll have to slide it in until we see the... This is what it looks like with the bikes on there. Good height with that hitch down a little lower. And looks like we'll be able to open the back about that far, be able to reach in and grab stuff. Very handy. Alright. Thing we noticed about these racks is you can tell one is a little lower than the other. You got to put the bottom one in first, and you got to, if you have a shorter bike and a taller bike from the frame, then you have to make sure you get the right bike on the shorter one on the lower hook. So, but then once we lock these, the bikes are pretty secure. I mean, yeah, sure, they could probably steal something out the back or out of this, but you know, you can take all that stuff off and leave it locked in the car. but you know, I wouldn't leave them out of sight because, you know, people do stupid stuff like steal the seats, styles, and things like that. Not too bad with the backup camera. It looks like you can still see around the bikes, and you can also use it to like check and make sure the bikes are nice and secure there when you need to.